Hello, I'm Tony Guida. This is My New York. A great New York story is on the menu today. A story about how a Puerto Rican kid from Washington Heights parlayed his street smarts, his personality, and a sizzling fastball to become a world famous ad man, restaurateur, and Broadway producer. His name is Phil Suarez. His story is endearing. You will meet him next. What a kick it is to welcome to the program Phil Suarez, and it's amazing. You look amazing, you are amazing, and good night. No. I said a moment ago, world famous in many fields, except your name is not the name that's out there. People don't know you. Part of where you are famous is in the John George von Gerichten empire, which is also your empire. But you don't like your name out in public?
No, it's pretty much done by design. You know, I've been lucky enough to be surrounded by great talent, and I always felt that my job was to get that talent out there and to let the public see that talent and let me be the man behind the scenes and see if I can make that work. As far as the business decisions and development opportunities, and so it was best that there's only room for one star in that game.
Well, I should make it clear to the audience that when you hear the name of the famous chef Jean Georges von Gerichten, he is the partner of Phil Suarez in how many restaurants now?
Well, right now we have approximately 35 restaurants around the world. We do licensing deals. We own half of them. We do management deals, and we're in Dubai, we're in Singapore, we're in Shanghai, we're in France, we're in California, we're in Las Vegas, we're in New York. So we've been able to spread the message across the world. So pretty happy about that.
Very successfully. And it's very hard to catch up with you because it seems like you're always on a plane.
Well, yeah, I got a few frequent miles there, yeah.
What is the nature? You talked about him as the star, and you're behind the scenes doing the deal. So what is it, chef and money man, deal maker?
Well, yeah, I would say I'm the business end of the company, and John George is the genius behind the brand, and he is the brand. So my job is really to go out there, make the deal, see the developers, make sure that there's no safe or a monkey on his back. So he's protected when we start a new venture, and he can just focus on putting out that extraordinary food he does.
Why does that partnership work, do you think? And it's worked very well for
Well, we've been partners for 30 years, and I can honestly tell you that I can't remember ever having a real fight with him. And you know, in the world of chefs, they're not the easiest guys in the world to get along with because, they're very passionate and emotional. But John George is a very, very, very kind, even-spirited, good person. So we've been partners for 30 years, and we genuinely respect each other a lot.
Well, it shows in something's working because it shows in the product nightly. It's a nightly performance he and you have to put on, and obviously quite successfully. How did you meet?
Well, we met just by circumstance. I went up to his restaurant one night when he was a young chef at the Drake Hotel. Some folks wanted to go to Côte Basque at the time. I said, no, there's a great young chef up at the Drake Hotel called Lafayette. And he was the first chef to achieve 4 stars at the age he did, like 27. I said, yeah, you got to go up and let's see this young fella. So we went up there, and he just dazzled everybody. His walking around the room, touching tables, the kind of food he put out. He wasn't cooking French food. He was cooking food with infused oils, carrot juices, and just taking French food to another level. Healthy, no more sauces, no more. Just took it to another dimension.
Not the old style French with the kind of
Oh,
heavy
yeah,
sauces.
all day, trying to get the sauces going and butter, lots of butter, but all of that was eliminated by his concept. And he got 4 stars by the New York Times at a very, very early age. And I was blown away. I introduced myself. I had dabbled a little bit in restaurants. I had an Italian restaurant on Park Avenue South called Positano in 1980.
I
It was my
remember
first
Positano.
restaurant of consequence. And he knew of it, and we talked, and we got to be fast friends. I went off to Europe to do a film production, and the fellows that I had taken to dinner that night were also in the business, and I was partners with them in a steakhouse. So they were so blown away by him that they asked if he would consult. I didn't even know that. So I got back, and all of a sudden I have a new friend and a consultant for this business, this steakhouse that I was a partner in. And we became great friends. And one day, out of the blue, he called and he says, "Phil, would you be in?" Before he finished interested, I was at his front door. I said, "What do you need? What do you want? Let's do something." So we shook hands, and the next day I gave him a check for X amount of dollars, and we opened a place called JoJo, which became
It's still there.
still there. And that was in 1990, 91. So it's still there and flourishing. And again, it was one of the first French restaurants that enabled people to eat healthy and understand their food.
As you were talking about how you met Jean-Georges, you made reference to going abroad to do a production, a film production, and we'll get to that part of your career, because at the top of the program I alluded to your many hats, and let's get the origin story. The origin starts because this guy has a right arm. If you don't know what a windmill fastball pitcher in softball is, it's a guy who does this and throws it real fast and the guys can't hit it. And that was you, and that's where you started, right?
Absolutely, that was my start in getting out of Washington Heights and getting below Central Park and seeing the real world. At least it was. I had never gone beyond Central Park, and one day I had a great friend named Dennis Mazzella, who was an art director at an ad agency called Papert, Koenig and Lois.
George Lois's agency, sure.
The infamous,
all-time, the infamous and famous and notorious.
arguably one of the great art, if not the greatest art directors that's ever been. And so my friend asked me, well, I was going to college in Iowa, and my friend said, "Phil, what are you doing this summer?" I said, "Well, I'll get some kind of job. I'm doing something. Some folks, I may go back up to the Catskills and work and play basketball up there for the summer, and do some waitering." And he said, "No, I have a great friend named George Lois." I said, "Okay, what? Tell me about him." And he said, "Well, he owns an ad agency, but he's a bit of a competitive guy."
Yeah,
I said, "Oh, okay."
Just a little bit.
Again, which will prove to be an understatement. So he said, "I have this great friend, George Lois, who's an amazing guy, and of course, and one of the great art directors." I knew nothing about advertising at the time, of course. I was still just getting past Stoop Ball and
Right.
Johnny Ride the Pony and that kind of stuff. So ad agencies, I had no idea. So he said, "Well, what's the story?" He says, "Well, he needs somebody to pitch softball for him, because he really wants to take his ad agency into the next level of competitive softball because they had won." They were winning, or he wanted to win the advertising league and go on to play bigger and better.
He wanted to get up almost into semi-pro category.
He wanted to go in with the Grumman people and that kind of,
So you
real players.
go in and what, audition?
So I go downtown, and he says, "I'd love to meet you." And I said, "Fine." He says, "Bring a glove." And I said, "All right." So I bring my glove, and I come down. I have a glove in my hand. I go up to the 28th floor of this beautiful office on Madison Avenue, and I walk in, and all of a sudden I turn around, I see a ball coming at me, and I reach out, I grab the ball, and he said, "Throw me a couple, kid." I said, "Okay." So I do my thing, I throw, and for about 5 minutes, we're going back and forth. "You're hired." Just like, as you know, only George can talk. "You're hired, kid." I said,
Well, kid, how old are you? At
I'm
this time?
19 years old.
19.
Yeah, I'm about 19.
You're hired
You're hired. I
because you can pitch. And he tells me he put you in the TV department.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, and this is to this day he will and always will be my mentor, because my real job, he put me in the TV department, but my real job at that time was to throw Trini Lopez parties for the ad staff, for the entire ad agency, and to pitch softball. We had 2 or 3 games a week, and that was my job. It would be Jack Tinker or BBD&O or J. Walter Thompson and Carl Alley. And our infield at that time was making more money than the New York Yankees infield.
No.
100%. They had such guys as Sam Scally, Carl Alley, all of these great, George Lois, all of these great legendary ad guys were on our team. Not that they could play, but they were on our team. But they were all great guys. Right. And could you imagine a 19-year-old kid who grew up in the Heights and to come down to Wall Street, and you have the WASPy account exec, you have the Jewish writer, and you have the Italian art director, and they're all in this beautiful environment, and one guy is nicer than the next guy, and they're having so much fun. And I say, is this what life is about? So that was my introduction to Madison Avenue. And you've all seen the Mad Ad, a little exaggerated, because George really ran a professional, great shot.
He hates that show, by the way.
Well, because it
Hated
really,
that show, Mad Men.
it really didn't. I mean, there were moments, of course, that a lot of that stuff happened. But at the end of the day, they were all professional and putting out great work.
Yeah.
Were they loose and carefree? Yes, because that's who creative people are.
Right.
But it wasn't the double martinis and
Right.
9
Yeah,
9 a.m. scotch at the desk kind of stuff.
Right. He essentially says they didn't know what the hell they were doing. I know what I'm doing. I'm smart at what I do. They didn't know what they were doing. But
well, that's George.
That's George, of course. So you're in the TV department now. That's where he. But you obviously learned because it's not long before you're in a TV production company with a fellow named Bob Giraldi.
Not too much longer. I stayed in the TV department all through my college day every year, and I hopefully learned a little bit more each year, and I loved it a lot. And then when I got out of college, after a year or two of testing other things, I did some very interesting stuff, but my heart was in production. And by circumstance, George, here we go again with George, calls me and says, I'm starting a company called Transnational Communications. And this was a company that was owned by Whitey Ford, Pat Summerall, Dick Lynch, all these legendary people. And it was kind of a group, Joe Namath, a group of sports celebrities who are now getting into the, founded by a guy named Woody Erdman, who owned TV radio stations in the New York, all through New York State. So my first job was to run the New York Football Giants network, meaning that I would go out and get them advertising, because I was a fairly good salesman, and I was able to get...
You're a great salesman.
Well, I was a pretty good salesman. So, I mean, I always remember going up to Schenectady or Buffalo in the Mohawk Airlines. If you remember that airline.
Oh, I do.
With the pizza flights. And
yes.
It was quite an adventure, because if anybody knows who travels through that circuit, the weather's not always the greatest. So I had a lot of, here I again, another Puerto Rican kid from the Heights. All of a sudden, I'm going up to to Syracuse, or Buffalo, and it's 35 below zero, and I'm saying I'm trying to sell Schaefer beer to buy the New York Football Giant network, and it came out well. It was successful enough where they also own a company called East West Films, and they offered me a job to run that, which was a film company they bought, which was making commercials and doing other things related to the film business. So I went over there, became their sales manager, and I ran that department. And so now that got my foot into the world of television commercial production.
Yeah, right.
And in fact, the story with Bob Giraldi is that the first time I met him, we had a basketball game, and we had a little hello, how are you kind of thing moment, and we kind of knocked each other down.
Yeah.
And,
a little pushing and shoving.
A little more pushing and shoving. Yeah, a couple of
elbow in the chin.
Of course. It was his fault, not mine.
Well, of course.
And so that's how we first met, and then we became friends and associates. a year later. So in 1970s, we joined a company, existing company called Ampersand, who had a star film director called Elbert Buden, who was at that time arguably and still is probably the foremost food director there has ever
Really?
been. Food director meaning he would go and shoot a pea for like 2 days.
Oh, I see.
For McDonald's,
here's
for
yeah.
whatever food company wanted to make their product, mostly food, looked like nobody else's food that was ever shot. So he was unbelievable. He was just, the Salvador Dali or whoever of that. So I always remember going in his office and he would be like looking at a carrot for like 3 hours. I said, Albert, you got to be kidding. What is that about? But he was a genius. So we stayed there for about a year and a half. And, we went out in 71 and formed Giraldi Suarez Productions. And the first year, we were able to win 7 Clios, which was
Wow.
unprecedented. Eyewitness News, if you remember those commercials.
sure.
Geraldo Rivera, the Puerto
Yes.
Rican wedding.
Yeah.
Hello, Roger Grimsby. We did all the leukemia commercials. So we really,
Well, I said at the top of the program, calling you world famous in a number of fields. It is not an exaggeration to say that Giraldi Suarez Productions was world famous. Among other things, you may remember a singer by the name of Michael something.
Miguel
Yeah.
Jackson, yes, I know him well.
Well, and there was music videos were very big, and there's a famous video of his song "Beat It," and that was Giraldi Suarez.
Yep,
You guys
yep.
made that. I want to show our viewers one of your more humorous Miller beer spots. This is Giraldi Suarez at its best, at its creative best. Watch this.
You know, one of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. Down it! I love them. These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front
Come on,
row.
come on.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Good seats, hey, buddy? He missed the tag! He missed the tag!
So,
He missed it.
well, those are the light beer commercials that we were fortunate enough to do for almost 19 years. And the greatest part of doing these was every year there was a reunion commercial, which meant that 20 of them, whoever we wanted
Well,
to.
you had all the sports stars of the time.
From Red Auerbach to Bob Cousy to Tommy Heinsohn to Bubba Smith to Billy Martin. Now, can you imagine these 20 coming to the Beverly Hills Hotel or the Beverly Wilshire, wherever we were going, and spending 2 or 3 days together? You have no idea. One of the greatest memories I'll ever have was just spending time with him, like after midnight.
Yes.
After midnight with Billy Martin holding court and really putting it to everyone. Whether it was Bubba or Mickey Spillane or it was, I was like, being a guy who loved sports his whole life, could you imagine just sitting in this room with these guys?
Right.
It was just a blessing.
Great experience.
Such fun.
It's Euchre. Was he already a kind of a television humorist personality when you got him for this?
Yes, he was. I think most of these folks, either they were Hall of Famer athletes or they had some a great story is Marv Thornberry. If you remember Marvelous
Sure,
Marv.
Marvelous Marv.
Marvelous Marv.
From the Mets.
At that time, he was selling, I believe he was selling like aluminum siding in Georgia or Mississippi. And we called him, and when he came, he was so thrilled and happy just to be part of that. And I'm going to say we pretty much changed his life right there and then. And what a great guy! Those are the kind of characters we would sort out. Also, not only the Red Auerbachs and the famous guys, but also those guys, the umpire with the glasses. If you remember that,
Yes.
all of those kinds of things made that thing last for 19 years. To me, a tremendous disappointment was when they stopped, because to me that could still be going on if you think about it.
Yeah, why not? Giraldi Suarez was how many years? You have that
Over 30, about
Really?
31 years, 32 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got just too busy in my food world, and
Well, that interests me. That here you start out in advertising because you're a pitcher. You learn some stuff. You get into television production. You become just one of the best that's ever been. Giraldi Suarez does. And now you get over into food, or you're on your way into food. It seems to me that from a business that's really sound and doing very well, successful, but you're going into such a chancy field, restaurants, so speculative. Did that bother you at all?
no, because if you really think about it, it really was an extension of what I do, produce. I was a producer, so all it was an extension of what I did, putting things together and making them work. Yes, the liabilities were tenfold, but no, it was, and plus the job, one of the jobs I had at my film company was to get the work. And to get the work in those days, it was a three-day worth of every day would be 3 meals. It'd be two lunches or 2 dinners, and and the dinner, or it'd be just a whole lot of entertaining.
Right.
So I had standard reservations at the Palm, Gallagher's, the Granui. Every day I would have to call them at a certain time and give up my table. But Mike Minucci's, that was my job, to go out and entertain the advertising world, and hopefully have them use our company. And
Right.
One of the great things about doing what I did is that when I went into the ad agencies, I always looked for storyboards, they were called, which is the conceptual boards to make, we would execute their conceptions. And I always looked in the offices to see if there were any palm trees on it, because I said, that's the one I want, because I could spend the winter in
Right.
Beverly Hills or Florida or something.
When we shoot that one, sure.
So, but so then I became, also in love with food. So I enjoyed that food world. So when I opened Positano in 1980, it was kind of just an extension of what I did, and I embraced it.
So you, as you said earlier, you and Jean-Georges now about 35 restaurants. I read somewhere that you said, and I was, it caught my attention, and I wanted to ask you. You said that Spice Market here in New York was your biggest risk, and it was the biggest risk that you took. And
Well,
explain that.
one for the cost factors, because it was the first time I'd ever undertaken something that was almost 17,000 square feet. So it was really a very, very big build out. And that's what I really meant by the risk factor. Could I pull this off? Could I do a 17,000 square foot restaurant? Would it work? And needless to say, the more square footage you build, the more expensive it gets. So
Right.
that's where the risk came in, and it was a 125-year-old building, and we were going to the meatpacking district. There was no one else in the meatpacking district but one other restaurant at that time, Pastis. And I was taking a huge risk because at that time, if you remember the meatpacking district, it
was a tough place to be.
pretty raunchy. And so for all of those reasons, it was my biggest risk.
What's on the plate, so to speak, now that you can talk about anyway? The new things that you're working on.
Well, we've been very successful with a couple of restaurants in New York called ABC Kitchen and ABC Cocina. And now we're building a third trifecta to that called ABCV, which will be a vegetarian restaurant.
Ah.
And that'll be open in about a month and a half. And then we have an ongoing, I call it a pipeline. So we'll be opening up at the new Waldorf Astoria in Beverly Hills. I just undertook doing the South Seaport, which, if anybody's been
South Street
the old Fulton Fish Market.
Yeah.
If anybody's been reading about it, it's huge. And Jean-Georges and they've asked me to be kind of the curator of it and bring in some food talent to make this thing really a buzzing food destination kind of place. And Jean-Georges and I are taking about 60,000 square feet and doing a Fulton Fish Market, and we're also going to be doing a 10,000 square foot restaurant. And this whole area has changed dramatically as we speak.
Yes.
As we speak, they're building hotels, new residences between the west side and the east side, which has been neglected for a long, long time. Gravity's moving down to the bottom of Manhattan. So it's really exciting. It's being done with the Howard Hughes Corporation, who've put billions of dollars into making this thing work. Looking at the Brooklyn Bridge, looking at the water, it's really spectacular.
Yeah, that's a terrific part of town. I have to ask you, what do you think of the Danny Meyers no tipping policy?
Well, I really haven't gotten it too deeply into it because we're old school. That's Danny's prerogative, and he can do what he wants. John George and I haven't been champions of it because we believe service should be merited, and we believe we pay everyone above and beyond normal wages. So I think it should be according to the how you're treated and how you're served. And I think New Yorkers especially are sophisticated enough to leave the proper tip. Even Europeans, after that whole thing, what Europeans don't tip, that kind of, the people who I like to think go to our restaurants understand how to behave, and I think it's working out just fine the way it is.
Phil Suarez, it is such a delight to chat with you. We could go on for a long time, but then they would shut off the lights and throw us out. Thank you so much.
Well, it's great spending time with you, Tony. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
And we will see you next week.